Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back on the dev server and we're having a look at a new vehicle coming in to the British tech tree, but it's a Canadian vehicle. This is the Ram 1. The Ram series has been in War Thunder for quite a long time. You have, of course, the Ram 2 that you can see right here, and then also you have stuff like the QF 3.7 Ram. In the American tech tree, there was also the M4A5, which is the Ram 2, and technically, you have all of the M3s, which was the basis of the RAM as well. So generally, you have a wonderful kind of plethora of different RAMs and also different M3s. And if you want to know where it is in the British tech tree, you can find it right here between the Crusaders and also the Cromwell, which is kind of fun. So what is the difference between the Ram 1 and the Ram 2? Well, it's pretty simple. It's the gun. The Ram 2 has access to the 6-pounder, which many people enjoy because it does have pretty good penetration, but also still maintains a very good reload. Whereas the Ram 1 only has the 2-pounder. It has the 40mm QF, which is basically the same gun that a lot of these different vehicles have for Britain at the starter tiers. A13 Mark 1, guess what? It's the QF 2-pounder. Tetrarch, hey look, it's the 2-pounder again. How about the Crusader 2? Oh, it's the 2-pounder. So basically, all of these vehicles here, a lot of them have the 2-pounder, even stuff like the Sark Mark 4A. But all of them are a bit lower in BR, aren't they? All of these are around about 2.0, 1.0, 2.3, 2.7 at the highest, with the Crusader 2, which has access to scouting and also some other capabilities. Even the Valentine, which recently got up BR'd, is still at 2.7. For some reason, Gaijin believes that the 2-pounder is good enough to be able to get this thing to 3.0, which is just a little bit wild. So what are the other factors and why is this thing 3.0? Basically, it's because of its weird armor values that it has all over the vehicle. You can see that it has 50mm of thickness, but a lot of it is quite aggressively angled on the vehicle, meaning that you can get a little bit of armor up to 150, 200 at points, but then at the same time, you still have holes in it where it's only around about 50. You can see as we kind of like move up and down, there are areas which are pretty tough, but a lot of them just aren't. And you also have this wonderful kind of area here where you can pen through quite easily with a lot of rounds. So at 3.0, you are basically relying on the fact that these vehicles or enemy vehicles that are fighting you don't know where to shoot this thing. It also has a 76.2mm thick frontal turret, which has 83mm of effective thickness because of the little angle it has. And then also you have the other little pieces of armor, which are around it too. So for me personally, you have a general standard armor profile. It's just got some weird little angles on it, which people get caught up on. And then you have the standard 5-man crew, which I would definitely say is more standard in the Second World War. After that, it's more like 4-man and 3-man, but 5 is definitely proper, especially for the British. So you have the gunner, which is the machine gunner here. You have the driver, a loader, a commander, and then also the gunner as well. To back up the 2-pounder, you have 230s, basically two 7.62mm. You have a machine gun right here, the M1919A4, and also you have this 7.62 as well. Technically, you have this one as well. I think it actually fires, so that's something which is kind of nice because it's in this little turret, but it's only a 30 cal. If it was a 50 cal, it would be a lot nicer, but 30 it is. You also have the radio station, the big old 400 horsepower engine in this, and then also the transmission to be able to make sure that this thing can go forwards, but keep that standard kind of British tradition of not being able to go backwards. And what you also have with this vehicle with the 2-pounder is a stabilizer, which is why this gun can be very useful compared to some of the others. It doesn't have the greatest targeting speed, but the fact is you can fire it on the move at very good accuracy, and on top of that, you also have a great reload. So you can plink, 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 bang, 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 and kind of go around the place and just hammer stuff. And that's why this vehicle can do pretty well, and why a lot of people enjoy the 2-pounder. It has good stability, good reload, and good penetration for it, but not at 3.0. Like, imagine trying to face 4.0 in this vehicle. So looking at the general rounds, the one that everybody uses and should use is the APCBCT. This one has 89 millimeters of penetration and also is over a kilo in weight. The APT is the standard round, and you have basically a little bit less penetration and a little bit less weight. The APHE is a shell that they added a little bit more recently, but it's just not worth it. It doesn't pen enough, and you will just unfortunately die. So it's much better to take this round. That's basically why this vehicle is at this BR, and it's a rank 4 round. So you basically have to get through all of the ranks before having to fight this. So just to kind of show you what this vehicle can fight at 4.0, you have, of course, the KV-1L11, which has some pretty decent armor. You also have stuff like the T-34-1940, which has some very good angled armor, plus these two as well, which turn up. For the good old Germans, they also have some fun vehicles around these BRs, including the Stug, which also has some very good frontal armor and can just mincemeat you. The Panzer IV F2 nowadays is 3.3, which is just insane. And then also at 4.0, you have the Shermans. And if you have a look at the armor on the Shermans, they actually have some pretty cool ones. You have this right here, which is 63.5, but you can see the effective thickness is more around late 80s, early 90s, and also these areas can be hard to pen too. So you'll have to fight all of these vehicles in the good old Ram 1. And let's just say it won't be exactly a very fun matchup. The other problem at 3.0 with this vehicle is if you have a look at the lineup for it, you are struggling. You have the gun carrier 3-inch. I don't know how many times I have been told that this vehicle is good because it has 90 millimeters of armor on the front of it, even though the vast majority of things can just pen it in the front. I feel like people are just trolling me. But this is a terrible vehicle. It does not work. It's very bad. Then you have the Crusader AA Mark I, which keeps going down in BR because it cannot be an effective AA. So now it's more of an AT gun. You have the AC-1, which once again is a fun little event vehicle. But that's it for the BR. Everything else is 2.7. Well, I suppose you have the Crusader 3 and also you have the Valentine 9. So, you know, those you can bring along and do some good stuff with. But mainly your power BR is 2.7, and then your other power BR is 3.7, and then also 4.7. And so maybe adding this RAM in, it'll give you access to a better BR where it is, but generally you're not looking for something which is going to be, you know, as strong, because you're just going to kind of gravitate to the BRs which are generally better than the one that this one sat at. So in my opinion, this vehicle being at 3.0 is a little bit egregious. I think it definitely should be a bit lower in BR. I understand that, you know, there are people out there who really, really value this gun and think that generally because of the penetration, it is absolutely fantastic. And I mean, fine, like you can do that if you want. You know, the optics are generally fine on it too. And as I said, the reload's fine. But the simple fact is it's going to take you a few plinky plonks to actually kill things. Like you can see here, we're shooting center mass on this Panzer IV, and it's taken us 3 rounds of accurate fire from range to be able to kill things. And that is something that you can't really abide by very well, because by the time you've done that, you've been plink-plonked into a non-existence by a 3.3 long 75 German vehicle. So, should this thing be the BR that it's at? Probably not. Will I play it and will I give it a go? Of course I will, because it's always nice to be able to play new vehicles, especially when they're in the standard tech tree for Britain and also other nations that I enjoy a lot. The Ram 1 is one of those that will make, as I said, lineups around it on top of what's already there, which is good. I'm just a bit worried that they are putting it at the wrong BR because of the fact that it has this weird and wonky chassis that supposedly is hard to pen. But they've put down so many vehicles now which obviously have quite a lot of penetration. I don't really have to aim to be able to go straight through it. And then, of course, you have the wonderful APHE stuff at this BR, which means once you do get penned, you get absolutely nuked. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.